you had to guess, not to speculate, but there's been, what could would their reasoning be, do you think? I mean, is it ignorance? Is it some sort of, I don't want you to say that they're corrupt by any means, but where do you think this is coming from? I don't understand.
You know, I really don't know where it's coming from, but one of the things I can tell you is that it's extremely frustrating when the government touts its environmental record, talks about the Green Energy Act, for example, their most recent initiative that they're touting in terms of environmental initiatives, and yet one of the easy wins, a very, very easy win, is to allow for these Zen cars to be on the roads, and they're not doing that. So it makes you, it makes me, and it makes others wonder why it is that the government comes out with all these big announcements, like, you know, like the Green Energy Act, but on the very simple things that can be implemented very easily, they're not prepared to go the distance. And one has to be concerned about a government that talks the talk on the one hand, with all these big announcements and all these spin around what they're doing for the environment, but when you actually look at what's being implemented, you see that they're dragging their feet and they're not doing the right thing.
Absolutely. And in terms of accountability, as you know, you presented our petitions to the House, and for weeks now we've been trying to get an interview or just an explanation from either Jim Bradley or Dalton McGuinty or my local MPP, and the local MPP of many of the listeners of The Edge is George Smitherman, but everyone refuses to even acknowledge this. What should we be doing that we're not doing? I mean, we're sending emails, we're making phone calls, but they're not responding.
Well, I think it's time for a rally.
Yeah, all right, let's do it.
I think it's time to get people down here on the steps of Queen's Park and start making some noise. I mean, it's a sad day that when you have to admit that no matter what you're trying to do in a civilized way to engage your government representatives or your political representatives on an issue, it's not working. Eventually, people get to the point of frustration, which is where I'm sure you are now, which is where I am now on this issue particularly. And so perhaps it's time to get people on the steps of Queen's Park making some noise, because it's apparent that the government is not responding, and it's even if they were to respond to say, here are the reasons why we're not, here is the logical reason why we're not moving on this, then we can all say, well, gee, we didn't think about that, and so that's legitimate. But they're not even doing that. So it's not like they're providing any kind of explanation whatsoever as to what's holding this up. And I think that if we were to go that next step and create that bigger story, if you will, create that bigger piece of pressure through some kind of action, then perhaps they'll start to respond. And it's unfortunate that you have to go to those lengths just to get a basic response from the government.
And one final thought that my mother actually pointed out is that maybe Jim Bradley or George Smitherman are intimidated by my rugged good looks. So before you answer that, though, let me give you this.
I think that's it.
Possible?
I think that's it.
Okay, we got it solved. Andrea Horwath, thank you so much for taking the time. It's great to see you as always. Congratulations, and very excited that you're leading the Ontario NDP party.
Thank you.
Hamilton, what? Cool. That was great. Thank you so much.